Gentleman's NCAA tutorial, and this one is so you don't know anything about football, or at least you have very limited knowledge of football, and I'm trying to explain as much as possible for people who are, just don't know much about football but want to learn. Um, so this is also going to be how to create your first dynasty uh, in college football 25. I might also cover Road to Glory. I'm a bit less interested in it. Road to Glory, the problem that I have with it is that you'll be stuck doing a specific role, which, I mean, it can be helpful. I think especially if you're a beginner. You might want to do a Road to Glory as a running back to start, because your strong suit as a beginner, I am pretty sure, will be to run the ball, because it's the most translatable skill. If you just run into open space, basically, you can use moves, but yeah, a lot of it is vision, knowing where to go. Um, yeah, that's mainly it. So, for this video, I'm gonna try to cover as much as I can. It's gonna be about a 60-minute video. I'm gonna try to get to Dynasty and get as much into that as I can. But I think if you have no idea about football to begin with, then we're gonna have to go back a bit. And let's just start with game settings. You can set whatever team is your favorite. We'll get to how to select your favorite team if you don't have one. Um, Offensive playbook. Okay, so I guess we could cover that now. How to select your favorite team. I'll cover it a little bit now and a little bit more later. You're gonna want to, if you have no favorite team, you can base it on your location. Which, if you're not anywhere close to any of the teams, then you can move on to the next one, which would be: do you like their colors? Do you like their mascot? Do you like what you're hearing about them, at least as far as I can tell you? Which I am not an expert on college football. I know quite a bit about the NFL and could tell you quite a bit about each of the teams in the NFL, but my knowledge for college football is a bit more limited. Okay, so you can leave offensive and defensive playbooks on team specific. Even teams is really only used when you're trying to play somebody head to head and you want to have your teams even. Um, yeah, I don't ever use this ever. Skill level. So you're a beginner. You can start on freshman if you like. If not, you can, if you're feeling brave, you could start on All American. But I think most of you will probably end up being varsity to begin with. Freshman is like for little kids, I think. But you might be able to, if you find you're having good games on freshman that are competitive, then you know, definitely play it until you get better, and then you can move on to varsity. Um, but yeah, I would say varsity for most beginners, and then you can move your way down or up as needed. I play on Heisman, which is the highest difficulty, because I get competitive games and they're fun at that level. Quarter length, if you want it to be realistic, 10 minutes, you'll want the play clock on, you'll want accelerated clock on, and you'll want a 15-minute minimum play clock time. So what this means is on downs where the clock is running, it's going to run down to 15 seconds as soon as you call a play. Well, right after you call a play, it'll run the clock down. So that way, uh, it simulates how much time it takes for teams to call in a play and get that communicated. The time spent in the huddle is subtracted by minimum play clock time, at least functionally. For coin toss, now this is an interesting one. I think you can just leave it on kick with wind. Personally, I prefer with wind and kick, uh, but if you do it this way, I found the CPU often chooses to kick itself. So I've had more success with kick with wind. Although personally I'd prefer it the other way around. It just doesn't really work with how the CPU, because I end up receiving the ball every time if I do with wind first and leave it up to the CPU. For control scheme, yeah, tap and hold is best. I think it feels more natural. You can leave wear and tear on. Passing type, you might be tempted to use the revamped passing or classic or placement and accuracy. I'll tell you the problems with each of them. For revamped passing, it will always give you a perfect deep ball. So it's basically cheating. For classic passing, you're not able to use things that you can with placement. Placement adds a layer on top of classical passing so that you can still use classical passing with placement, but you get extra functionality with the L2 and L1 button, the trigger, the left two triggers. Uh, the the trigger that is that one will control for both PS5 and Xbox. That one will control. It'll give you extra control over how you lead the pass if you hit L2. That's like I'm trying to think of what they actually call it in the controls. Um, it's a precision pass. You can do passing slowdown if you're a beginner, if you would like. It will not work online, as it says, but this will slow things down so you can process the field better. Because one of the big problems that beginners have is trying to process what they're seeing before the defense gets to them and sacks their quarterback. So yeah, you can definitely try that. I don't know what. I guess there's max, moderate, slight. You could probably start on max, and if that seems too much, lower it. And then if that seems too much, lower it. And then if you can do without, then do without. Or if you prefer having it, then go with that. I mean, it's your game. Pass lead increase though. For a beginner, I want to say you're going to want to go with either small or medium. Um, I would say medium. I think that's a good middle ground. Because I use large because I like to have more control over where I put the pass. I like to be able to hit L2 and lead them further than you can on medium. And I also like to be able to use that to throw the ball away out of bounds or into the ground or away from the defense with using the L2 to adjust the pass lead. I can manipulate the ball's trajectory to go into empty space and avoid interceptions with that. I have the reticle speed at 9, visibility user only, meter user only. You can definitely use those. For gameplay helpers, um, definitely auto flip. Ball hawk you can keep on. I would actually recommend having the defensive heat seeker assist on because what that's going to do is it's going to help you tackle. It'll steer you towards the ball carrier when attempting to run or dive into the ball carrier, so that makes tackling easier. You might want to increase the window size if you're a beginner. It goes up to 200%. And I don't see any reason really to lower it unless you're trying to, make the game more challenging. You can, if you have it off, you're like free-form tackling, and it's much more difficult to actually get the ball carrier with that. Defensive switch assist. Yeah, I don't use that. I do like controlled player art. That'll show you what you're supposed to do on a given play. I don't use coach mode. I would take for this game. I'm finding 65 on injuries, 60 on fatigue. The speed parity scale. Now that's an interesting one. I've heard that it's better to increase it, and you might even want to take it as high as like 75, 80. I'm gonna have it at, I think, let's see, I'm gonna keep it at about 65, I think. And what that's going to do is it's going to decrease the parity as you increase the slider, so that the fastest cornerback in relation to the slowest cornerback is not as fast. There's less disparity between them. So it recognizes the athleticism at that level if you increase the slider, in that there are a lot of fast guys in college football these days. At the NFL level, I would say, yeah, it's probably higher even. Uh, well, it would be higher even because everyone is a fantastic athlete in the NFL. But for college football, I could have it between 35 and 65, or even up as high as 75, and I'd be happy. I don't mind having some disparity. I like to see when athletes are, uh, outperforming their competition. I do think that this game is inherently a little bit scaled towards disparity, and so you might want to, I think, like I have it, set it to like 65. So, anyways, other than that, user skill. I would say you probably want to increase this to like 60 as a beginner. Pass blocking, you'll definitely want to increase as a beginner. And another piece of advice is if you do have some experience and you're used to like playing on veteran, was it? Hold on, let me see what the if you're used to playing on varsity, try playing on All American, and then using the sliders to make it easier. If you're playing on All American, try playing on Heisman and using the sliders to make it easier, rather than starting at the lower level and uh, trying to work your way down. For wide receiver catching for player skill, you'll want that as high as 65. Yeah. Run blocking, again, you're probably going to want that like 60, if not higher, because you're going to be relying on that. You don't need to touch ball security. Reaction time for the human, if you want your pass defense to be better, lower the reaction time, because then they react faster if you lower it. It's a weird slider. Every other slider, it's like you increase it to buff, but in this case, you decrease it to buff and increase it to debuff. So, anyways, 45 would give you better reaction time. You can leave interceptions at 50 usually. Pass coverage is pretty weak in this game. I'd take it up to 65, if not even 75 to start, and you can work your way down. And then user tackling is pretty trash. I would take that up to 60. Well, actually, I have it at 55 right now. You might want to go up to 60 if you're not seeing a lot of good tackling. On average, running back will break 2 tackles a game. You should expect, I think, 3 or 4 broken tackles a game. If you're seeing more than 3 or 4 broken tackles by your team in a game, then you might want to increase the user tackling. Punt power is pretty weak for this game. Take it up to 60. I think that's the only thing you need to change there. Now, QB skill, the QB is extremely accurate for the CPU, so take them down to 15. Pass blocking as a beginner, you might want to decrease this because pass blocking, if your opponent has less time to think, and I'll get to I'll explain more about this later, but the less time your opponent has to think in the passing game, the better. So decrease pass blocking to increase the number of sacks and pressures if you're getting lit up in the passing game. The CPU is really good at catching. You can take them down to 40, and they'll still have a pretty consistent time catching. Run blocking, the CPU has been gutting me. I feel like, so I would take it down to 45 or 40. I think I have it at 40. Ball security you can leave. Reaction time, now this one's important. You're going to want to jack this one up all the way to 100, because if you don't, they have really, really superhuman good reaction time. They at least used to. I think they changed it for this version, but still, I would increase this to 100 because you'll see less ninja stuff. If you need to, you can lower interceptions. I leave it at 50 typically. Pass coverage, that's just however you're feeling. You're doing in the passing game. If you need to lower it so that you're getting an easier time passing the ball, then you can. Tackling for the CPU, I think I do reduce this by 5. And then again, pump power, you're gonna want to take that up to 60. I think after that, you should be good. I do always turn down the commentary because I do not want to hear it. I also always turn down menu music because I don't really care to hear that either. Let's see what else is there. I think that should be good for settings. And I just wanted you to have your settings set up first so that when we go into practice mode, you're practicing how you play, basically. Alright, so let's learn how football works for somebody that doesn't really know hardly anything or maybe nothing at all about football. Let me see what team I want to take. I'm going to take Notre Dame, I think. Actually, I'm fine with Nebraska. They've got Rayola. Let's see. For the defense, fine, Armies. Okay. Alright, so let's see how basically just to play the game. Okay, so we're going to start off in a basic I formation, and then I'm going to pause the game, hopefully, and show you some things. The defense will be in what is called a 3-4. Okay, so let's see. I might have to actually do a play first. So I'm going to execute this play with my quarterback, who is the one with the ball. And that one was dropped. Okay, so football, I'm sure you know, is pretty simple in that you want to get that football, which is that down there that the center is holding, number 66 of the red team, that oblong sphere. I wouldn't even call it a spheroid. It's oblong. I don't even know what. But in any case, the quarterback grips it usually based on the laces that you can see there in white going across the top of the ball. And that helps them grip it and throw the ball faster. You want to get that ball across the end zone, which is all the way at the end of the field. Yeah. As long as you get it into the white or over the white, that line there, this one that goes across, then it is a touchdown. If you step out without getting 2 feet in bounds, like even if you just step a little bit on the white here with your second foot, then that is not a catch. Well, that's NFL rules. College rules, if you have 1 foot in, then you're good. But if you have 1 foot that's, if your first foot is partially out of bounds, that is not a catch. Okay, so let's have a look at the offense. This is a basic I formation, which is what you'll see often at the NFL level. It's one of the most basic offensive formations, and it has all the positions, and it's just a good example of football. So we have an offensive line that is protecting our quarterback. Our quarterback is number 15. Hold on, let me get this back out. So our quarterback is number 15. He's a quarter of the way back from the center. And then we've got our line here, and our line includes a left tackle here. The tackles are on the outside, so number 65 and number 54 are tackles. The Number 24 is playing off the line. He is a tight end. 51 and 69 are guards. They're interior of the tackle and on surrounding the center, who is number 66. That is your offensive line. 15 is the quarterback, the one who throws the ball and handles the ball on almost every play. 16 here is the fullback. Things had changed in football. It used to be, it used to mean something when somebody was a halfback. They were halfway back. The quarter was a quarter way back, and the fullback was the full way back. But at some point, the positions flipped between halfback and fullback, I believe, which is why the fullback is the one that is closer to the quarterback now instead of the halfback. And the fullback is a blocker typically. Sometimes you'll hand it to him, but he might only get less than 10 carries over the course of a season. And it's like for sneak situations where, it's like 3rd and 1, and I'll explain downs and distance later. But like if it's close down and distance where you need only a few yards, then yeah, you might want to hand it to the fullback and surprise him because he's closer to the quarterback. He'll get the ball faster. He'll have a jump on the defense. The halfback, however, is number 7 here, and he's the furthest back, and his job is to run with the ball, typically. Sometimes he'll do pass blocking, which is when the quarterback is going to throw the ball, and he's got to block the defenders from getting to the quarterback. But his primary job is to take the ball from the quarterback and to run in relation to the line, however the play dictates, and try and get yards on the ground. We've got a tight end over here. A tight end is basically a hybrid between an offensive lineman, a tackle particularly, so 54 or 65, but a smaller version of them, who is lighter and more like a receiver, but he's not quite a receiver because he's usually taller, the tight end is, than the receiver, usually heavier, usually better at, well, almost always better at blocking, because the tight end is a multi-purpose position. It will often block for the quarterback, or it can go out and catch the ball. Your tight ends are typically not going to be as good as receivers for catching the ball, though. The wide receiver is on the outside here, and we've only got 2 receivers in this formation. Usually most offenses are going to run 3, but 18 here is our receiver, and he's playing on the outside, and his job is to run out and catch the ball. Sometimes he is asked to block in the run game, but it is not his primary focus. Catching the ball is what receivers are specialized in. Okay, so that's the offense. For the defense, it's a bit more confusing. We're in, yeah, this is a 3-4, so we've got 3 down linemen. This would be the the right end here. This is the defensive tackle in the middle here. Actually, for a 3-4, that is called a nose tackle. And then we've got a left end here on the left side of the offense's formation, I believe. I cannot remember if that's actually... Hold on. Yeah, because the left outside linebacker plays on this side too. So yeah, anyways, then you've got 4 linebackers. You've got a right outside linebacker, and that's number 40 here. And he's standing up and not set, as a defensive lineman is. And that just dictates, how you're able to maneuver. If you've got your hand down in the dirt here, you can get leverage on the offensive lineman in front of you. You can get a more powerful approach to them, but it's harder to drop back in coverage from that position. Whereas if you're standing up like this, then you are more likely to. This is called a 2-point stance. This is because he's got 2 points on the ground, is 2 feet. He's more maneuverable. This is a 3-point stance. He's got 2 feet and a hand on the ground. There's also a 4-point stance where a nose tackle or a defensive tackle will have both hands on the ground. This is an interior middle linebacker, number 53. 21 is also a middle linebacker, and 36 is an outside linebacker. Your outside linebacker is more for blitzing. If it's the left outside linebacker like this guy, the right outside one is more typically for run stopping or pass coverage, in my opinion. The middle linebackers are pursuit based. They're gonna go run and stuff to run, or they can play pass coverage. You've got a cornerback on the outside, number 16. You'll have a second cornerback over here, number 28. This is your, I believe, a nickelback, number 6. He plays SLCB, slot cornerback, in the depth chart. But that is, I believe, a nickelback. It could also be a free safety. Oftentimes, a free safety will play nickelback anyways. So that's a bit confusing. And then some schemes will consider a nickelback a part of the linebacker core, which I don't think it is in this scheme. Number 20 here is likely a strong safety or a free safety. I'm not sure which. I think this would be the free safety, and then this would be the strong safety or the nickelback, because this is the strong side of the formation. Okay, so let's talk offense. Let's talk running the ball, I guess. Gonna choose a new play, and I'm gonna show you what a run play looks like. So, how to pick your plays? You can. There will be a suggestions tab to the left of player when you're actually in a game. In practice mode, you can go to formation, concept, play type. I guess I would go with, let's see, play type seems to include, well, okay, yeah, I go with concept, and I want to run a basic run play, and I want to run an inside zone, so I'll go with that, and then I'll set the defense, and we'll talk about defensive, well, often you'll just use the suggestions for defensive play calling because they're decent, but we'll get to that later. So I'm just gonna end up running, I'll hit R2, the right trigger, to check my play, and it's wanting me to run between that left guard number 61, I believe, and the center who's in front of the quarterback who is number 15. So I want to run in that, what is called the A gap, which is right between the center and the guard. And see a big hole opened, and I was able to run through it, although there was a couple of defenders that were able to get to me. Upon approaching the linebacker, hit the juke stick and was able to avoid his tackle, but the defensive tackle was able to drag me down from behind. Alright, so run plays are pretty simple, just run where you're supposed to go. I mean, I didn't run it there, you don't have to follow it. I run wherever is open. Basically, I'll go in that direction unless I see a better direction to go in. Run plays are more suggestions. Just think of it as like, yeah, you might want to go there, but if you see a better option, you better choose that option, because running is a lot about vision and being able to see where to run. Like, I bounced it outside this time because I saw an opportunity, and I got more yards than if I had tried to go inside. But the same play, I might end up going inside and getting more yards. You know, it's how the play unfolds. See, like I cut it back to the right side there, and you can do that too. If you get the ball and you see an opportunity on the other side, go ahead and hit that, because you might get yards. You know, don't be afraid to try stuff, especially as a beginner. So as a running back, let's talk about what to do. So currently you're under center with the quarterback. You'll hit X or A if you're on X for PS5, A for Xbox. And that will start the play. And you'll want to be reading your linemen to try and figure out where to go. I do have it on Heisman, so it's pretty difficult for me right now. But let's see. So you can use the right stick to flip the play if you want to. I mean, you can also just run in the other direction, but I do like to flip it on plays that are headed towards outside of the tackle. So the guy in the end there, 65 on the left, if the play was to run left of him on the outside of the tackle, between him and 80, then I would, and I wanted to go to the right side instead, then I would definitely flip that play to the right before running it. Again with the right stick. And then when running, you'll hit R2 to accelerate. Now, the defense does get a buff when you do that. They'll be able to react faster. They get a pursuit bonus, in fact, by you choosing to use the sprint button. I believe that is still in base game. So you might want to delay your use of sprint until you can identify a gap to run through. But if you just hit it right away and you have success, then that's great. But you might end up finding out that it's more successful on average to wait to sprint. So the other option is the moves that you can do. So if you hit A or X on PS5, so A on Xbox, you can stiff arm somebody, and that's the same button you use to snap. And so that is, you will use the hand that is not carrying the ball, and you'll extend it outwards to try and stuff them like that, like I just did there with 21. Here, let's look at that again. So this is a stiff arm. I'm hitting A or X, depending on your console. And, yep, he got stiff armed, so I got out of that tackle and then was hit by another. The other option is circle, which is a spin move. And typically, here, let me change the play, because I think spin moves, they tend to work better on, like, a sweep. There's also a thing called a jet sweep, which is where your wide receiver will come across the formation and take the ball. But I'm going to go with an outside zone here. I'll leave the opponent in cover one, and I'm going to try to execute a spin move like that. So I just, this is often how you will want to use the spin move. You will want your opponents off to one side. See, they're both pursuing there to the left. So if I spin to the right, which is hit circle, or what would that be, B on the Xbox? And then I hit left, or I hit right on the left stick to try and influence the direction that I'm spinning. And I'm just using their momentum against them and getting around them with the spin. And that's the best way to do it, really. So then you have another option, which is to use the right stick, and you can hit that left or right, and that is a juke move. You can also, well, I'll do the juke move first. This isn't the best play for a juke move, but yeah, I attempted it there. I think I'm going to flip the play, and I should be able to, oh, I can't, I'll have to flip the whole formation, which is box and then R2, or I guess it would be X and R2 for Xbox. So I'm going to attempt to juke somebody here. Yeah, it's really not a good play for a juke. I'm going to go to a inside zone, and I'll show you a juke there. Or a power. I do like power. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to juke this guy to the right. Yeah, and that gained me a few more yards. Okay, so then the other option is to go right through them, where you hit the right stick forward, and you've got to time it right, and you usually have to only be approaching one defender. If you try to power through three guys, it's not always effective. And you can get a few more yards with this, and it's going to depend on your running back. Some running backs are just really bad at trucking, is what it's called. And I think this guy has low trucking because it's not being very effective. But yeah, again, that is just push forward. Um, Another option that you have, another move in your bag, I guess. Let me see if it even works anymore. But it's the back juke where you hit back on. Yeah, yeah, you can do that. So you hit back towards you on the right stick. And this is very situational. It'll be when somebody's pursuing you from the side and there's only like one person and you got nobody behind you, then you might do a back juke in order to let that guy go past you so that you can continue forward. It's really hard to showcase it here. I guess I could probably do it on maybe a screen or a jet sweep. I guess I will try to give you an example of a back juke. I'm going to go with the jet sweep uh, to the left, and I'll have them in cover one. Okay, so 80 is going to come across, and I'll hand it to him. And then I'm going to back juke. Oh, yeah, okay, I got caught. I was going to try to back juke the safety. See if I can get another one here. I need to get around this edge first, and then I can back juke on the safety beyond. It did work there, but it's not really a situation where you'd use a back juke. I just got lucky that it actually caught them off guard. Maybe a slant or something. Yeah, it's just hard to show off the back juke because there's not a lot of situations where I use it. So anyways, let's go into a passing play and let's see how to do a passing play. Well, actually, let's go with an option first because that's a variant of a run play that will help you expand your running game. So an option, it will be, you're in the shotgun, so you're away from the center. He's going to have to pass you the ball. Snap you the ball is what it's called. In order for you to begin the play, so you hit X to begin the play. This one's calling for you to run to the right, and then you have the opportunity to hit the left bumper, and you can pitch the ball, which is to toss it behind you specifically to the running back. So you're going to want to keep the running back behind you, or to say that is, you want to be forward of the running back so that you may pitch him, and you will also want to be to his interior on the field typically, so that you have room to pitch to him. And what you're going to do here is you're going to hit R2, and you're looking for the guy on the edge of the formation there, to the right of 54, the one with the P over him. That's the guy that you're going to read. And so what you do is when you snap it, you're going to run to the right, and if that guy goes after your running back, then you go interior of him, so to his left and up the field. Your 24 and 18 should be able to block the guys in front of him, and then you'll have a one-on-one versus the safety who's in the back there. It's either that or he pursues you, and if he pursues you, then you pitch the ball. So let's try that. He is pursuing me. I'm going to pitch it. And we got some extra yards. So I'll do a few of these. He is... yeah, I should have pitched it there. I wasn't sure exactly what he was doing. He played it right. Pitching it here, because he pursued me. Let's see if I can get one where he doesn't pursue me. Nope. So here we were able to get around him using the option. The option can be extremely effective if used right, or you can get your quarterback smashed and fumble because they often have low carrying. Or you can mess up the pitch and or get it intercepted. So it's a high risk, high reward play. It's a lot of fun though. I really do like running the option. I'm not very good with it though. Okay, so let's get to a pass play. So there's quick pass, medium pass, deep pass. Let's start with a quick pass, and let's go with a slant. And I'm going to go with double slants. I'm going to leave the defense in cover one. Alright, so this is what the this is what the play looks like. The receivers are going to follow those routes that are indicated in yellow. Yeah. And so we've got Banks, number 80, on a slant to the inside, Lloyd on a slant, Nayer on a slant, Vidone on an out, I believe, and Beckwith also on the flat to the left side. Okay, so you have a number of options here, and as a quarterback, you're going to want to go through a progression and read the defense. Now, the first thing that you would want to read is how many safeties do they have, which is at the top of the screen. You see that one guy back there? That indicates that it's either cover one, which it is because I said it, or it could be cover three because the cornerback's on either side. And so what cover one versus cover two versus cover three means is that it's the number of people playing deep, over 15 yards out, or at least over 10 yards out. No, I'd say about 15. Uh, Let me just double check that. No, I'd say at least 10. So at least 10 yards out. The deep portion of the field is what the individual coverages refer to. There's cover 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 would have 4 guys falling back and each covering a quarter of the deep part of the field. Okay, so as a quarterback, what I want to read is, like I said, the safety. So I know it's either cover 1 or cover 3. I can see that it is in the base 3-4, so they have 4 linebackers, they have 3 defensive linemen. So really here, for me, I'm just checking triangle here first, and that guy that is along the way of his route, I'm reading him to see if he covers Beckwith on the flat, or if he's going to stay put and disrupt that route that Lloyd is attempting to run across the middle of the field. So if he stays put and doesn't do anything, I'm probably going to hit R1 and get it to Beckwith, or I'll look to Nayer or to Banks. So with the quarterback, you want to have a progression. I'm dictating that Lloyd is my first read. I would then look to Nayer. Well, typically you'd want to stay on the same side of the field, so it'd go Lloyd, Banks, and then Nayer, which is what I tend to do. But it's a quick read for Banks because that's often a more risky route I've found on the outside coming across the middle of usually a zone defense, although I know it's cover one man. So the difference between man and zone defense is how the defenders act. With man defense, they have somebody that they're assigned to. So that guy that we were talking about on the route along Lloyd's route, number 19, coming across the formation, that guy with the fire over him, the first one, he is likely assigned in man coverage to Beckwith, number 7, R1, so he will likely go down to the flat and try to cover him, which will likely open up Lloyd for me to get that quick pass in. Now, where this could be a problem is if, usually with cover 1, there is one safety deep. Well, there's always one safety deep with cover 1, but there's also often a middle of the field zone, which could be that M, the Mike linebacker. he could be falling into coverage and disrupting that route to Lloyd, or at least making it hard to get to him. So that's something to watch. Um, hmm. So yeah, my progression here is read the guy along triangles route with the fire over him, and then if he's staying put and not covering the flat, then I look deeper to Banks, and if he's covered by that guy with the star under him along his route, if that guy plays in on him and is between me and the pass, like between the quarterback and the receiver, then I'm not making that pass. If the guy on the right side of the formation above 24, the tight end, that outside linebacker, if he falls back into coverage, then I know that I can't pass to Nair either. In which case, I'm passing to the tight end Fedone. I rarely do. Usually, one of these slant routes or the running back is open. So let's see how this goes. So how you do this again is X to snap or A if you're on Xbox, and then you pick the button over the route or over the wide receiver that you're trying to throw to. Okay, so let's execute this play. So he stayed put, and then the middle linebacker jumped the route. See, he was playing that zone that I was talking about. So, reading again there, yeah, you know that that's not going to happen. So, you'll want to go past your first read on this one, in this cover one matchup, and look to Banks then, who is open. Because being man coverage, all of the defense clears out, and he's pretty much open every time if you run this. So if you can read that it's man cover one, then you're gonna know that he's always pretty much gonna be open because he's especially in this matchup against Army, that's man, and that guy's playing pretty far off. He's playing about 10 yards off of the receiver, so that slant is almost always gonna work. On the right side, it does appear that there is an opportunity if you're fast enough, and if that 13 or 53 isn't reacting, but you might end up just hitting him anyways. See, like, there's the opportunity for that. So there are two opportunities in this one. It's going to be different for every play versus every type of coverage. So really, it's a lot of for a beginner, it's going to be a lot of instinct of where you feel like guys are going to be. You'll have to anticipate that and, try your best to read coverage, but you can get away with, like, not doing a whole lot of it. So again, this is cover one. So the weaknesses of cover one would be on the outsides of the safety, and also really just along the outsides of the defense. So box should be open. He is in man coverage. You could shorten that route, but he does get open consistently on this one. I would also think that X is going to be a problem because the Mike linebacker indicated by the blue M is often going to be dropping back in coverage. I think if I try to throw to him, it'll be an interception. Yeah, see? You can delay until he's past the middle linebacker, or you can force it in before he gets to the middle linebacker, but you might get jumped like that. So yeah, that's often a bad route in this situation. Triangle might be able to beat his man. Yeah, he did there. And the safety has a hard time adapting to that because he's got to cover both outside receivers. Because it is cover one and he's outnumbered. That time he did make the right read. Alright, well, let's see, what else is there? There's play actions, which is another type of play that you can execute. It looks like a run, but it is ultimately a pass. In this game particularly, it doesn't work very well because you have to adjust your coverage, or your pass protection, that is. So you'll hit L, the left trigger, or the left bumper, that is, and you'll want to anticipate where the blitz is coming from, and either use a full slide if you're really confident, or there's a lot of blitzers on that side, or a half slide if you're not. I would think on this play I'm going to go a full slide to the left if it'll let me. It will not, so I don't know what's up with that. Is this still on? No, it isn't. Okay, I guess because it's, I don't know, maybe it's restricted for that play. But oftentimes with a play action, you're going to get hit as a quarterback. You have very limited time to make a decision because you're wasting time trying to deceive the defense by faking the handoff to the running back. So these plays are risky for a beginner, but they do have high reward in that you can have a breakdown in coverage and get some big chunk plays. There's also such a thing as a screen pass. Screen pass is where you just toss it to. Let's see. Let's get a wide receiver. Do we not have wide receiver screens here? All right. I guess this one works well enough. This is kind of an unusual setup for it because the running back will go into motion for the left side. This is called a mountain swing. And then we'll have him on a screen to the left side. So for play action, which we did before, I should note that the offensive line operates as if it's a run blocking situation to sell that it is a run, which is also why they have a hard time protecting the quarterback. With a screen, they're going to fall back like it's a... some of them are going to just let their guys run past them, really. And some of the line is going to go out to protect the left side where the running back is going. I think with this mountain screen, that's not really true. It does look like they're just blocking normally. I'll try to find a regular screen. I don't see it in the playbook. But yeah, that's easy because screens, you only have one target, so you don't have to read the field at all. You just toss them the ball. They're usually behind the line, and then they just go and make something happen. So if you're used to running the ball, you're good at running the ball, and you want to integrate some passing, but not too much, definitely use the screen. It's basically an extended handoff. Let's have a look at a RPO, because this is the only other type of play that I think you will need to have some knowledge of. So an RPO is a run-pass option. You can either run the ball by not hitting anything. It'll hand it off to the running back automatically. Or you can choose the option to throw, which is circle in this case, which would be B on the Xbox, which is nay or 18. And I can throw him the ball instead of running it. Now, what you're going to want to read is that guy in front of him. If he follows him and there's a 2-on-2 situation where those two defensive backs on the left side are covering 80 and 18, then you'll just have to be careful because the interior defensive back, the one that's directly across from 18, is in good position to pick off whatever pass you throw to 18. So you'll just have to read that guy. If he backs off, drops back into coverage, then you're free to go. You'll have a one-on-one on the outside. That's usually against zone coverage. I feel like in this man matchup, 18 is always going to be covered. And I'll just end up handing the ball off to number 7, the running back. Yeah, see, that's way too close. I can't go to him unless I change the defense to zone. Sometimes you'll hit the button for the option too early, which means that, like, if I do it now, I can't get that pass off, so you'll have to release the button and hit it again in order to complete the pass. Something else I should mention is just how to pass, because that I have not covered. I have showed you a passing play and how to execute it. I did not show you exactly how to complete the pass. Okay, so let's have a medium pass. Let's get flood drive. We'll give them cover 1 again. So I'm going to hit the button of the receiver that I want to target, And oftentimes, if they are running into space and there's nobody in front of them, so like for 24, he is very likely to run to the right and not have anybody between him and the sideline. I'm going to hit L2, which is the left trigger, and that will give me precision passing, which will allow me to extend the lead of the pass so that he has more room to run, or he has a better chance of not getting having the pass be intercepted if I extend the pass lead. See, that one gave him a perfect opportunity to get to the end zone because he had more room to maneuver. Um, there is another type of passing called high throw, which is the left bumper. And that one's very situational. I use the L2, the precision passing, quite a bit. I don't use the high pass extremely much. I'll show you a situation where I do. So let's go with the shake, or really just any all go, type of play. I'm gonna look at I'll look at box and R1 and circle, and if any of those guys have a slight separation on their guy, uh, in this distance to the goal, I'll probably use the high throw and try to get that ball over the defensive back. So circle here, it might work. Yeah, see, he had an opportunity. He just dropped it. That's a very difficult catch. I don't blame him for dropping it, but that is the outcome. Uh, yeah, so it does give your receiver a jump ball opportunity, and so triangle here might get it. Yeah, oh, he dropped it. It's not a high percentage pass. There are other times when you might want to use it to try and get the ball over somebody, but I tend to use it on these goes if I see an opportunity. Just none of these are getting complete. Good defense, really. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, he dropped it. Okay, I am running out of time for this video. I think I've covered everything. I don't think you're an expert, but you've probably got enough information, especially if you rewatch the video or just were trying along with me. You should be able to practice at least. I'll try to get you into a game in the next video. Um, so while we still have some time, I've got about 2 minutes left. I'll explain some things. So that blue line is the line of scrimmage as the quarterback. As I approach that 30, I need to get the ball thrown before I fully cross the 30. Otherwise, it's an illegal forward pass. Um, you can scramble with your quarterback beyond the line of scrimmage. And then the basics of the game is that you get 4 downs, and you can try and get 10 yards, although you might lose yardage. And as long as you have downs, and you can keep the ball. So you want to keep getting first downs ultimately. Let's see, what else is there? Yeah, and then on the 4th down, so we'll get to a game later in another video. But when you're playing a game and you're at 4th down, it's often time to kick the ball, punt it. I'll explain that stuff later. I think we're good to go. I've got about a minute left, so about where I was thinking this video was going to get to. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next iteration.